You get plenty of coverage of Oklahoma State football. You think you hear all the noise coming from Gallagher-Iba Arena when you get your Cowboy basketball news. But you don't.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
And there's a couple of Jordans here to fix just that. This is the Cowgirl Coverage Podcast.
This could be a podcast. Anyone with a computer can make one.
Here are your hosts, Jordan Keene and Jordan Bishop.
Hey, it's a bonus edition of the Cowgirl Coverage Podcast. Welcome into the Triple Play Production Studios here. It's a Thursday evening, about 7 o'clock. I'm hoping to have this up tonight. I contemplated making graphics to show our brackets, but what I might do is just take screenshots of them and post them up during the podcast so people can look at our brackets. I think that might be easier.
Yeah.
Also, we might tweet them out. We're still deciding if we want to throw our Twitter feeds the kind of ridicule that might come from these brackets. So, but Jordan Bishop and I, along with you, as we always are for the Cowgirl Coverage Podcast, welcome in. And today, although it's not Cowgirl, we do cover women's sports. And we covered a lot of women's basketball this year. Both Jordan and I both did. And we saw 6 postseason, but 4 NCAA women's tournament bids for Big 12 teams, including the number 1 overall seed to Baylor.
Yep.
And Bish thought, why not do a bracketology for the women's side? Everyone makes a big deal about making sure they can do their bracket challenge and fill out their bracket challenge, which all of them are going to be busted by the time tonight's done.
Definitely.
By the time the first round is over, everyone's going to be busted anyway on the men's side. So we thought, why not do it for the women's side? Beautiful idea for us, Jordan. Well done.
And I think this is really cool. We are. I'm going with my heart on these picks. So
there's only one way to pick brackets, man, in the postseason, and that's to make sure that you pick with your heart. So I guess without any other further ado, let's do this, man.
All right.
So of course the difference is the top seeds for the first 2 rounds get host.
Yep.
So if you're a top 4 seed, is it?
Yeah, top 4.
You host your pods. So Baylor, South Carolina, NC State, and Iowa will host their pods, for example, in the Greensboro Regional. So let's start this thing off. Baylor, they take on Albany Christian. We have never seen a 1/16. We barely see ones lose at all in this tournament. I don't think we're going to see a 1/16. I got Baylor here, as I believe you do as well, Jordan.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Abilene Christian lost to Texas Tech by 51 points. So
Yeah.
that explains it. Yeah, definitely Baylor going chalk on this one.
Albany Christian. Good luck to you. And, man, good luck.
I'm pretty sure Baylor beat Texas Tech by 51. So
yeah, this could
combined 102 points.
probably gonna be pushing like a 70 or an 80 point win here.
Yep.
And Albany Christian might get 8 points. But anyways, California, North Carolina. I'm going with my Tar Heels here, my Lady Tar Heels. I remember growing up, North Carolina used to be a 1 seed in these tournaments. They were a fantastic women's program. So was Duke, and not necessarily seeing them on the 1 lines anymore, Jordan.
Yeah, but I went with them as well because the Cowgirls played them a couple years ago. No, it's not the same team, but they're a pretty good program. They have a win over Notre Dame on their belt, so they have that experience. And I really don't trust the Pac-12 at anything, so definitely putting North Carolina on this one.
Yeah, so there you go. Baylor, North Carolina for both of us. Florida State, Bucknell. Again, it's tough to take any upsets in the top 5, so I'm going chalk with both Florida State and South Carolina over Belmont.
I went with Florida State over Bucknell. The Belmont one, especially going in on the home floor of the Gamecocks. Yeah, it's not going to happen. That's the hard thing with this tournament is you have to play on the home floors. It's not like the men's where it's neutral, so that's a tough thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. So let's keep moving down here in the first round. Kentucky versus number 11 Princeton. I'm gonna go Kentucky here. I'm gonna keep it chalk for now, and I'm also gonna take NC State, the 3 seed, over Maine. So I'm gonna keep it chalk for now. I do have that 9 over the 8, so I have one upset. It doesn't count. But no, I'm going chalk here with the 6 and the 3 seed.
I took an upset. I took Princeton over Kentucky. I think they won last year, and I'm always partial to the Ivy League. I shot myself in the foot today by picking Yale. No, that didn't work out. But I always liked the Ivy League, and I think Princeton can do it against Kentucky. And then I took North Carolina State
Okay.
over Maine. I just don't see that happening. Like you mentioned, top 4 seeds, it's tough.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And next one down, and by the way, you can't fault good academics, Jordan. I respect that pick. I don't agree with it. I'll respect it. I'm going to take Drake. I have a buddy that goes to Drake, so that's how I'm making this pick. 27-6, a mid-major. And by the way, all of these games played in Iowa City. Drake, they're in Iowa. So I like Iowa on a pseudo home floor here against Missouri. Although, Missouri, not like they're traveling super far, but I like this pseudo home game for the Drake. What are they? Are they the Bulldogs? I believe they're the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
And then I'm also going to take Iowa. Megan Gustafson, the best player in the country.
I took Mizzou, sadly. And they're a team, the SEC team, that has a large fan following. I think they broke the record for, largest in their entire history for a women's game this year in terms of fans. So they have a good program going on right now. And Megan Gustafson, great. Let's just say that Iowa is a long way from being knocked out in my bracket.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. There's no doubt about that. So I'll tell you what, for the ease of putting these brackets up on video, let's continue through the Greensboro region.
Okay.
So back up to Baylor, North Carolina. I'm taking Baylor here over North Carolina simply because it's in Waco, and they're the best team in the country right now going into the tournament. And then I'm going to take South Carolina over Florida State in the other round of 32 matchup. Pardon me.
Yeah, I took Baylor. Just no shock there. They're a really good team, and we've seen them. And unlike last year, they're a team that's built to make it to the Final Four. And then I took Florida State over South Carolina. I took a bit of an upset. So we'll see what happens there. But at 5-4, I just have a sneaking feeling with the Seminoles.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick, and I don't necessarily mind it. I'm going to say Kentucky gets knocked off now by NC State, and then Iowa, the great story of Drake playing at Iowa City. Megan Gustafson's going to make sure that's a problem, okay? That's a problem.
I took the same ones as you did. I took NC State over Princeton. And then I take Iowa over Mizzou. Megan Gustafson is continuing to be probably going to get 30 points in that game, definitely.
She is something else. And if you haven't watched her, I would definitely recommend checking out one of these games that Iowa plays in. So let's finish it out. Send a couple teams to the Elite Eight here, Jordan. South Carolina versus Baylor. I'm going to take a huge upset here, and I'm going to take South Carolina. Okay. Here's why. Greensboro, North Carolina. This is close to a home game for South Carolina. We know this is a women's program that has a rabid fan base.
Yeah.
We know that. And I think Baylor could be in for a fight that they didn't necessarily think they signed up for here. So I'm going to take South Carolina. That's a huge upset. I know that. But I'm going to take them here.
I'm taking the Bears.
All right.
I just have a feeling that they'll get this one in. But that's a good choice, though, with South Carolina because, as you know, they do have a good fan base. They have more fans probably than the men's team, which Frank Martin knows. So, it's a pretty good thing. That region is prime for an upset if you have one. And
a couple programs that probably both sell more women's tickets than men's tickets, especially this year. Although Baylor, whatever. Anyways, NC State, Iowa, again, I'm a big Megan Gustafson fan, excuse me, and I'm going to send her to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I got the Hawkeyes as well. Got me up with the Bears in the Greensboro Regional Championship.
There you go. So should we wait to send a team to the Final Four, or should we send them right now?
Let's go ahead and wait.
All right.
Let's wait.
All right.
Let's keep the suspense going.
Sounds good. All right. Sounds good to me. So we will move over to the Chicago Regional.
Chicago.
It's a hometown-ish game. I believe the Ogumbawale family is from that sort of area. And Dare, great football player for Wisconsin. And Enrique, little sister, obviously we know the theatrics that she pulled last year in the tournament, hit a couple huge shots and won a national title for Notre Dame. No trouble with Bethune-Cookman. And then I'm going to go Michigan State because Big Ten bias.
Same thing going Michigan State, usually a pretty good program. And I just don't believe the mid-major against the Big Ten in this one. Big Ten's got some good women's basketball, so I got Notre Dame, Michigan State playing second round.
Yeah, so 12-5 matchup upset's not a huge thing in women's tournaments, but you would be mistaken if I ain't taking Rice right here to knock off the Marquette Lady Golden Eagles. So not a chance. Rice all the way, and then I'm going to take the Aggies of Texas A&M.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm taking Marquette.
It's the smart
for
choice.
the sake of my bracket.
This was a team that was ranked near the top 10 most of the year. So they're probably a little underseeded as 5, honestly. But Rice.
Since I like the Ivy League, I should take Rice. I know it's not in the Ivy League, but it's another smart school. But going with Marquette.
That's all right. Hey, that's all right.
They're going with the other Houston school or close to Houston school and A&M. So Marquette and A&M play in the second round.
Smart. DePaul, I like the Demons. I like I like the fact that they're averaging 72.5 points per game. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to take DePaul over Missouri State, and then obviously, I like the is it the Bandits? I think that's New Mexico State's.
No, they're the Aggies. The men's.
Are they? They're the Aggies.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, New Mexico State. Good luck to them, but perhaps the second best player in the one of the better players in the country. I thought she should have been a first-team All-American, Bridget Carlton, and Big 12 Player of the Year. She can get it done.
Yeah, I thought both. Asia Dur is obviously up there, but I think she's probably one of the top 5, if not top 4. And for both players coming out of the same state, they're perennial great players. So it's a great thing for the state of Iowa. I'm going to go with DePaul on the top line, and then go with Iowa State and New Mexico State for the second round.
Smart. No love for BYU for me. I'm going to take another 10-7 upset. I like Auburn, and then Stanford is Stanford, the only team to beat the top-seeded Baylor Bears until South Carolina does it this tournament. So Stanford gets the win over UC Davis, obviously.
Yeah. Stanford also has a win over Oregon, so they're the only Pac-12 team I will trust. Usually. There's another one in here that we haven't got to yet, but Pac-12, for all their faults, they do have a couple of women's basketball teams that I will put some faith in. So Stanford goes in, and then I have Auburn beating the Cougars as well.
Cougars, that's right. So good choice there with Auburn. Yeah. And for the Pac-12, if you can't believe in football, you can't believe in men's basketball. It's got at some point you got to have something that you can hang your hat on. So I'm going to go Notre Dame, and then obviously I don't have Marquette, so I have Texas A&M. So I think Texas A&M ends the historic run that Rice won't actually have, but I have them picked here. So Notre Dame over Michigan State and Texas A&M. Moving on to the Sweet 16 in my bracket.
Could you imagine if Rice beat Texas A&M?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
The fervor that goes on in Houston, goodness gracious. But I have A&M beating Marquette, and then I have Notre Dame taking care of Michigan State pretty handily.
Yeah. Well, that might be another. I didn't even think about that. Playing at College Station could be a huge thing for Rice in that first round match. It might give them a little bit of it. Yeah, but I think it's still unrealistic to pick them. Anyways, I made the pick, so I got to live with it. And did you say you went with A&M?
Yes, I did.
All right, there you go. I got Iowa State and Stanford. Going to go to chalk here so far. Not a ton of, my Sweet 16 so far is the top 4 seeds. So we'll see if that continues moving on through the bracket here. Hint, it won't. But I got Iowa State and Stanford.
Yeah, the only non-top 5 or top 4 seed I have is Florida State on the other side. So
they're 5.
I'm going definitely with the top 4 in this region as well. So I got Iowa State and Stanford moving on.
Sounds good. Obviously, Arike Ogunbowale, she won't need any big shots to beat Texas A&M. They're going to move on to the Elite Eight and play an upsetted Iowa State team that knocks off Stanford. Am I crazy?
No, and I know this is why we do the podcast together, because we agree on the things, and I have Iowa State moving on as well against Notre Dame. So
well done.
Bridget Carlton, great run. Elite Eight would be probably the farthest they've ever gone, so that'd be huge for the Cyclones.
Hey, and for everyone that votes on the Big 12 Coach of the Year, when you see that Bill Fennelly is there and Kim Mulkey isn't, maybe you realize you got this wrong. So, again, we are waiting to move on to the Final Four. So we'll move down to Portland, where a top-seeded Mississippi State. We saw this team a lot as Cowgirl, following the Cowgirl team last year, played them twice. Mm-hmm. Gave them, some trouble here and there, but this is a team that will have no trouble in the first round. And you look at some of their players; they lose a top 5 or 10 draft pick, and just keep moving on. And Tierra McCowan is an incredible basketball player. So I have them winning this first game, obviously, and then I'll take Clemson because I don't know what this other team is. So
I'm taking Mississippi State to win at home, and then I'm taking South Dakota because the Coyotes
SDAC.
are they the Jackrabbits? One of the Coyotes are
no,
Jackrabbits.
South Dakota State is the Jackrabbits.
There you go. So they are the Coyotes. I take South Dakota to beat Clemson. I have some faith in this team. They're a hot shooting team, and I don't think we'll be seeing the end of them yet in my bracket.
Sounds good. I'm looking back on my bracket. I still have room for a 5-12 upset, so I'm going to take UCF here, go Knights. And then, no, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be Lob City with this Florida Gulf Coast, so I'm going to take Miami. And no upset here for the women Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, Florida Gulf Coast team got a upset a few years ago against the Cowgirls. I believe that's my first year covering the beat, 2014-15. But they will not be getting the upset this year. I know it's close to home. They'll be playing in Miami, but no, the Hurricanes will take it all. And then I have the Sun Devils moving on against UCF. Sorry for the Nines.
Hey, it's a good pick. I will point this out. Arizona State 3-7 against the top 25. That means they've cleaned up on teams like UCF. But
well, UCF is playing against home state. It's Arizona State's the only non-Florida team in that pod.
It's true. It's true. It's a real thing to think about. Quinnipiac and South Dakota State. Here I will take the Jackrabbits because I think that's one of the best mascots in the entire country. No Fordham over Syracuse. Fordham, a men's team I like to pick for a lot of upsets. Not here, though. Syracuse women get this win. And we kind of saw last year's
Syracuse team.
You know, that Syracuse team was kind of building towards something, kind of like we thought the Cowgirls were building towards something. Syracuse ends up as a 3 seed. Cowgirls don't even make the WNIT.
Yeah.
So two teams that kind of went in different directions. But I got Syracuse here.
Yeah, I got the Jackrabbits as well, so the entire state of South Dakota can rejoice. They're moving on to round 32. And then I have the Orange going on as well because we saw them last year, and that Big East pedigree, there's no way Fordham's going to beat them in this one.
Yeah, so I don't know. Jordan Bishop trying to get it. I don't know, trying to please the residents of South Dakota. So I don't know what's going on here, but unbelievable.
I've never been in that state, but it sounds nice. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Texas, Indiana. I don't know a ton about Indiana. I should know more than I do, but I'm going to take Texas here. I like Texas. Texas has not played well against the good teams, but they've pretty much taken care of. I'm not going to say it blanket statement.
Yeah.
They had some bad losses over the course of the year, but most part taking care of what they've supposed to have been taken care of. So I'm going to take them over Indiana here. I don't love it, but I'm going to make the pick, and then I'll take Oregon too.
Well, I'm sorry to Karen Ashton if she's listening, but I've taken the Hoosiers in this one. I just don't have faith.
Now, Karen, don't come into the press conference next year and tell us that this is the reason you won the ball game.
I just am not feeling the Texas Longhorns right now.
That's all right.
Aside from Iowa State and Baylor, I'm just not feeling the strength of the Big 12, and I just don't think they're going to show up in this game. And Oregon have them going on. Another Pac-12 school is going to be doing well and going to be making it far in the tournament.
Yeah, I don't hate that Texas upset. The fact of the matter is they haven't played well for long stretches of the season, so I don't think you can really be blamed for that. Mississippi State and Miami for me, as we look like we're headed for more chalk on my half of the bracket. I got the 1 and 4 seed going to the Sweet 16.
I have Mississippi State beaten. No, actually I don't. I have an upset. I was had to make sure I read this right. I do have an upset. I did pick this last night. No, I was not intoxicated. I do think the Coyotes are going to beat Mississippi State in the first big upset of this tournament. Princeton 11-6. Oh well, but 8-1. I have the Mississippi State Lady Bulldogs going out in the second round, and then to meet South Dakota in the Sweet 16, I have the Miami Hurricanes beating the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Really? So you do have Miami. That's good. I'm going to try to Google this. We're going to try to get you an answer. How many times has an 8 or a 9 beaten a 1 seed?
Not very often.
I'm interested in seeing this.
Not very often does 1 seed's not make it to Sweet 16 at least.
It's interesting. I'd like to see kind of how many times it's happened if we can find that. I'll try to see if I can't find it. It's tough to find. It looks like there was a 16 versus 1. that won, according to this. 1998, Harvard beat Stanford.
Hey, there's
so your Ivy League prediction might be true, Jordan.
There you go.
Might be true. So there you go. You have an 8 seed over a 1 seed. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm going to take the other South Dakota team. I'm going to say the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, Lady Jackrabbits, knock off Syracuse, and they will take on Oregon, who ends Texas's run. And I will say this: Oregon's probably, they're going to have to make sure that they play well against Texas, because Texas, for all the problems they've had this year, are not a pushover.
No, they're not. They're not. But I don't have them even in the second round.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's that's the two, right? That's the kind of the Jekyll Hyde that we've seen from Texas this year.
I have Oregon winning pretty handily over Indiana. Indiana's a team that has beaten Iowa, though, so they are a team that has experience against teams like Oregon. And then I have Syracuse going. So chalk on this side of the bracket, or this side of the region.
Well, you more than made up for your big upsets here. There's no doubt about that. So, all right, I'm going to have Oregon. They're going to end the Jackrabbits' run, take on Mississippi State in the Elite Eight. I got Mississippi State going a couple of rounds after you do.
I got Oregon and Miami going. So for all my upsets, this is like I did on the men's side. All my upsets, Elite Eight, it gets to the top 4 seeds anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. I mean, well, it's still interesting. Still interesting. So we'll see who makes it to the Final Four coming up in just a second. Albany, here we go. Here we go. Albany, let's do this right now. Louisville, Robert Morris. I think Robert Morris is going to give him a ton of – Louisville. Louisville gets the win. They're a 1 seed. They're going to win it. And then easily, I mean, this could get ugly in a hurry. Here's what's interesting. Opponents' points per game. I just pulled this up. Just about identical. 63.7, 63.8. We're talking Michigan versus Kansas State. Michigan scores quite a bit more than Kansas State does. But Kansas State's going to – I mean, this could get ugly in a hurry. Kansas State – they're going to win this game. What can I say, Jordan? They're a terrific team.
Kansas State underseeded. They swept the
Very
Texas
much
Longhorns. They're a 9 seed, while Texas used to be a 7 seed. So sleep a Texas team that is not making it out of the first round. Guess what that means? You're making it out of the first round. They're going to beat Michigan pretty handily and knock some of that Big Ten magic out. And then Louisville might win by 100. This might be a Baylor Abilene Christian game against Robert Morris.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. So I've taken too many 12-5 upsets, so Gonzaga's going to have to win here. Congratulations to them. And Oregon State will take them.
Well, this is not an analytic pick I made at all, but I needed a 12-5 upset because I haven't had one yet. So I picked Arkansas Little Rock over Gonzaga because, I don't know, Gonzaga usually chokes the men's side. Let's see if they choke on the women's side. So I have a 12 move on that one, and I have Oregon State going on so non-regional matchup of mine with Oregon State instead of playing the Washington team in Gonzaga, playing Arkansas Little Rock.
So since 1994, there have been 22 12s to upset 5s. So maybe not quite as prevalent as we see on the men's side, but it's right there. So I don't mind that those kinds of upsets at all. So I think it's smart for you to get a 12-5 upset. Good job, man. Good
Probably
job.
the wrong one.
Probably. Hey, that's your fault. UCLA, Tennessee. This is an interesting game because it's two historic programs going at it in where you don't know. This is not a first round matchup you normally see, right?
No.
I mean,
no.
this is kind of
Sweet 16, Elite 8.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy because normally you see these as 1s and 2s and 3 seeds between these guys. And UCLA is a 6. Tennessee is an 11. Tennessee 19 and 12. UCLA 20 and 12. And I guess I'm torn here. And since I've gone chalk so much, I'm going to go Tennessee. But I think this has potential to be one of the better first-round games, honestly.
I think it's going to be pretty close. I do have Tennessee winning as well, so 2 double-digit seeds winning.
Maybe I should have went with UCLA. No.
But we've seen Tennessee. They have the length. They have the athleticism. We saw them play Oklahoma State this year. Obviously, OSU played at UCLA too and lost, but I think Tennessee has more potential, and I think that can get them out of the first round. And then I have Maryland beating Radford pretty handily.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it, but I also have Maryland over Radford. So, Buffalo, I like Buffalo a lot. Rutgers, not a true Big Ten team. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to take Buffalo here. Rutgers is a team that I think is like they're probably seeded right. People are going to say they're underseeded. I think they're going to be probably, if you had to guess, probably if Vegas did handicap games like this, they would probably be 5 to 6.5 point favorites in this game, which is kind of big for a 7-10. Rutgers is a pretty they have a historic coach. You look at some of their wins against tournament teams, split with Maryland, swept Indiana. Rutgers is good.
Yeah.
But I'll take Buffalo. What the hell?
I think I'll take Rutgers in this one. I think they're going to rally around their coach, C. Vivian Stringer. She's not going to be coaching this tournament. She's selling by exhaustion. Kind of been a rough year for her. So I think they'll rally around her for this one win in the tournament, and then they'll face the inevitability of UConn in the second round if UConn demolishes Towson.
Yeah, I'll take UConn as well. So we will move back to let's just stay here. We'll stay at the bottom since we're down here, and build suspense moving back up for that one. That UConn's going to beat Buffalo. In my bracket, you have UConn, Rutgers, but I'm going to have UConn and I want to take Tennessee here just because I think it'd be fun to see Tennessee UConn. Yeah, what the hell? I'll take Tennessee. Tennessee's going to upset Maryland. I don't think this has any chance of happening, but I'll take it. Well, what the hell?
I'm going with UConn, Maryland. I didn't take Tennessee in that one, but that'll be a good matchup. I think Tennessee, Maryland, if that happens, or even UCLA, Maryland, will be a closer game than people think.
Yeah, and Maryland, I think, is a team that could probably play with UConn a little bit. I don't know if Tennessee can, but we'll see who I pick coming up here. that kind of gave it away. Gonzaga, Oregon State, just for the heck of it, I'll take Gonzaga. And then K-State, this is a huge game, huge opportunity for the Lady Wildcats. Peyton Williams, Kayla Gott. Look at this team. Kansas State rolls on, 9 seed, upsetting that 1 seed, which I don't feel quite as bad about seeing you take South Dakota.
Well, I'm sorry. I couldn't do this for Kansas State. I like the team, but I just can't have them beating Louisville. So Louisville moves on to the Sweet 16, and then have them facing Oregon State in Albany.
Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Gonzaga not going to have any problems, by the way, traveling to Oregon State. So, and K-State, no problems traveling over to Louisville. So, Manhattan, clear out. Get over there to Louisville and make sure your team helps me beat Bishop here in this bracket challenge. I'm going to get K-State. Let's keep it rolling, man. Over Gonzaga, they're going to play against UConn.
The
Elite Eight, K-State.
Yeah, 2 Big 12
Say
teams,
what?
the Elite Eight.
Say what?
I got Louisville
That's
playing.
right, too.
Yeah. Got Louisville playing Connecticut. I have that going to be in my matchup for
right.
the Elite Eight. So
Boring.
very boring.
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
but
I'm just
it's going to be a really good game.
I do too. If it ends up being Louisville, UConn, we will not be cheated. There's no doubt about it. And I expect that kind of what happens. But I got to take K-State here. Follow. I don't think Louisville has anyone on their team from Wisconsin, so I can't believe that they would. I can't believe that they wouldn't make it. So.
Yeah. I have. So you went with the Final Four pick, right?
I have not made my Final Four pick yet.
Oh.
You ready to move on to send some teams to the Final Four?
Yeah. I was going to pick up one thing. Okay, all right, I got it now. All right, so
got it?
Now I know the stat I was going to have.
All right. Let's go back up to the top. Let's head back out to Greensboro, and let's talk about this Greensboro regional. You have Baylor.
Baylor and Iowa.
So I'll let you make your pick first.
I'm going Hawkeyes. Megan Gustafson to the Final Four. Knocking off the Bears.
My heart says Iowa. My head says South Carolina beats Baylor in Greensboro. This is South Carolina. I don't want to say it's their year because it's their year just about every year. Yeah. But my heart says Iowa. Head says South Carolina. This can be. I'll go with Iowa. Megan Gustafson, Wisconsin, rural Wisconsin, barely in Wisconsin. Honestly, she was almost Canadian. She's from the boondocks up there in northern Wisconsin, living among the wolves, I guess. So, I'll take Iowa. I'll say Iowa beats South Carolina. Don't love it. But I'll take Iowa. The Hawkeyes to the Final Four. Punch their ticket.
So we got one already, same pick. Look at that.
How about that, Jordan? How about that? Let's head over to Chicago, back to the Midwest. My stomping grounds here. Notre Dame, Iowa State. We both have this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick first. Punch it in there.
We're going to get it all.
Let's make it an all-Iowa final. So Iowa State knocks off somehow. I already have, I have 0 1 seeds through my first 2. I'm in trouble. So Iowa State, big upset here. Huge upset.
I took Notre Dame.
Smart.
But yeah, that would be amazing if it'd be like I don't know if that's ever happened. 2 of the same schools in the same state going in the women's tournament, but that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, again, Bridget Carlton. This team hurts you in so many ways. Mm-hmm. They played right with Baylor from the majority of the Big 12 championship. I think Iowa State can beat anyone. I think after the first 2 rounds, they could probably lose to anyone.
Yeah.
But I'm going to, here in this situation, Iowa State to the Final Four. So down to Portland, or up to Portland, I guess. Mississippi State gets sent out west, but they do get the 1 seed. So a little bit of a trade-off here, and unfortunate for them, they're going to have to play Oregon basically out in Portland. So, I mean, this is, where is Eugene? I mean, it's essentially a home game. Yeah. So, a tough draw here for the Mississippi State team. Who do you got going?
I got Mississippi State lost back in round 32.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I have Mississippi State.
I've got Miami and Oregon.
You have Miami, even a further travel.
Yeah, I have the Ducks going all the way.
All right, Ducks going. Sucks. Mississippi State to the Final Four. Right. Mississippi State. Let's go. I'm just kidding. I can't really stand Mississippi State. I can't stand McCowan. I can't stand their head coach. But
Vic Schaefer.
Yeah, Vic Schaefer. Oh, my goodness. Can't believe just about erased his name from my memory, and you brought it back. So, no, Vic Schaefer. Can't stand either of them. But, hey, got to respect class, and class they are. And there's a reason they're a 1 seed just about every season the past few years, and I got them moving on to the Final Four. So big road win for them heading to the Final Four, which will be played in Tampa Bay, Florida. Florida. So UConn, Louisville?
Yep.
UConn, Kansas State for me. This is where the historic road comes to an end. I got UConn. This is a, kind of a humbling experience for me, but I gotta eliminate K-State here and send UConn to its rightful place back in the Final Four. I don't like it, but it's gonna happen.
I'm going the opposite direction. I'm gonna go Louisville beats UConn, and for all those people, there's naysayers who say that women's basketball bracket isn't fun. If UConn does not make it to the Final Four, that'd be the first time in 11 years. Change is coming to the women's game, and that'd be pretty awesome to see UConn not in the Final Four.
And interesting to add to that stat, I can guarantee you Tennessee was there dominating back when that happened. I'd love to see when both those teams weren't dominating, when the last time both of them weren't there. Because in your bracket, mine, UConn goes. in your bracket, neither one of them go.
No.
And so that'll be interesting. If Louisville goes, we will know we won't have UConn or Tennessee because they're both all 3 of them in the same region. That'd be interesting. Very interesting. So we move on to the Final Four. Iowa State and UConn.
Iowa State playing in the
Iowa State and UConn. Give me the Cyclones. Let's go.
Bill Finley will have a heart attack if that happens.
Let's go. They can't guard. Actually, you know what? It's not a great matchup because UConn is going to be able to guard Kristen Scott out there on the perimeter. I think it's a tough matchup. I should probably change my pick. No, I'm just kidding. I made the pick. UConn loses. We can't let UConn win.
I'll have shaken a national championship coach's hand.
That is true. So on your right side of the bracket, I guess. You have UConn, not UConn, totally different. You have Notre Dame, Louisville, right?
Yeah, I have the Cards.
All right.
Cards beating.
Yeah, I think if they can get past K-State, I can understand them going to the championship.
Be a tough road, man. They're fight through K-State. They beat UConn. They beat UConn. They're going all the way, man.
Yeah, man. I believe you. On the other side, I have Iowa, Mississippi State, and you have Iowa, Oregon. So do you have a 1 seed? Oh, a couple ones on the other side. Yeah. I only have 1 seed. That's Mississippi State against Iowa. You have Iowa, Oregon. Who are you sending? Please tell me it's Megan Gustafson, the greatest player in the.
I got the Ducks.
Oh my goodness!
I disappointed you. I have the Ducks going.
Wow. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. It's going to be a civil war for the national championship. Megan Gustafson versus Bridget Carlton. Let's do it. And by the way,
get record ratings.
This, I will tell you what, this, I believe, is a rematch. Let me look up the schedules.
Yeah, they played. Iowa beat them.
Iowa won by 3, so this is going to be a rematch for me in the finals. A 2 seed and a 3 seed. I don't know the last time there was no 1 seed in the championship. It can't be very much. Iowa State, the Civil War for the championship.
They should just move the championship to Des Moines if that happens. Just
no.
Bring it back.
Stillwater.
Stillwater.
GIA. We know Kristen Scott never misses shots here.
True. I'm sorry I have the glitz and glamour matchup
now
in mind.
You talk about who picked with their heart, Jordan.
I picked Louisville. They should dare to win it all. 56-53. So that's my final score.
Hey, you know what? If Asia Durr can somehow get past Kayla Goth, I think she's got every chance in the world. So here you go, Iowa State. Man, it's tough for me to even make a pick here. It's very emotional for me to have to knock one of these Iowa teams out. You'd almost think I'm from Iowa based on how this tournament went. Iowa State. This is a tough one. You know what? Man.
Going with this Wisconsin kid?
This is tough. This is tough. Because you got the Wisconsin kid in Iowa. You got the Big 12 bias and the Big 10 bias. You got the Big 12 bias in Iowa State. Man, you got Coach Fennelly, who I think got screwed out of Coach of the Year.
He did.
There's a lot that goes into this pick, man. There is a lot of bias that goes into this pick on both sides. Let's see. What corner do I hitch my wagon to here? Either way, I'm probably so far behind you at this point in the bracket challenge. Boy.
I hope this actually happens.
All right. Well, the Civil War can't finish in a tie, even though we all hope it does.
Yeah.
In fact, it will. It'll go to overtime. Oh, my goodness. This is so tough. All right.
Using the analytics over here.
Very interesting stuff going on here in the studio.
He's looking for something.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to see if there ain't no coin I can flip. All right. I've made my decision. You talk about a huge loss to Notre Dame. Iowa lost to Notre Dame by 34 points. And although they did beat head-to-head Iowa State en route to being here beats that Notre Dame team. I'm going to give it to Bridget Carlton, most outstanding player of the Final Four, most outstanding player in the country, beats the most outstanding player in the country, Megan Gustafson, in the championship game. Cyclones win it.
No better person to get than Bill Finley. That'd be great. I hope it happens.
You and me both. So I guess the tiebreaker we need to put in there is some 68 to 63 in OT.
There we go.
There it is. I will submit my picks and save it.
There you go.
Iowa State. Iowa State. So to run it down, our Elite Eights, I got South Carolina, Iowa, Notre Dame, Iowa State, Mississippi State, Oregon, Kansas State, and UConn. My Final Four, Iowa, Mississippi State, Iowa State, and UConn. And then I have Iowa State winning the Civil War over Iowa. Jordan, take us through your Elite Eight and through.
I have Baylor, Iowa in the Elite Eight, Notre Dame, Iowa State. I have Miami, Oregon, and Louisville, Connecticut. And then going to the Final Four, Iowa, Oregon, and Notre Dame, Louisville. Louisville beating Notre Dame and Oregon beating Iowa. And I have Louisville beating the Ducks to win the national championship.
Well, Jordan, this was a really fun time. I think we, I probably let it get a little too far away from myself at the end there.
Hey, we both had Iowa State in the Elite Eight.
We did.
And I had Iowa in my Final Four.
You did.
So
and again, I think, I think there's a chance this could happen. You know what? I'll take it. I think we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what,
hope
hey,
it
best
happens.
of luck to you, but I hope I beat you.
I hope at least they make the Final Four together.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome. So, by the way, I will have this up. There's going to be a Cowgirl coverage group. You're going to have to enter it. And if you don't, we're not going to be able to judge ourselves against each other.
Well,
so you're going to have to enter it. And I'll
right.
tell you how. I'll tell you how after we get off the podcast.
Okay.
So,
Right.
Jordan, it was a pleasure. An extra episode. I believe this is episode 13 of the Cowgirl Coverage Podcast. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, good.
I don't know what we were waiting for there. So,
I thought you were waiting for it to be done. That's the glory of these podcasts, man.
Seriously.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah. No doubt about it. So there you go. Jordan King, Jordan Bishop with the Cowgirl Coverage Podcast, Triple Play Sports Podcast Network.